Nintendo's decisions abound, Halo clings to life, and Ubisoft continues its slow and inevitable decline. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, and I forgot to put Derek's name in this, so I am going to read it off my phone. A boy and his friend. You say I'm reading it off my phone right now. The Midnight Crew discovered a hidden treasure map in their attic and set off on an adventure in the woods. Along the way, they encountered mischievous gremlins from another dimension, and Zach, a stranded alien who needed the treasure to save his home planet. Battling booby traps and racing against time, the boys must outwit the gremlins and help Zach return home, all while keeping the adventure a secret from suspicious adults. In the end, they realize the treasure in an ancient energy core that can restore balance between dimensions. That boy's name was Max Gallagher.
Mag Gallagher.
I guess that's how I would pronounce it.
So I was gonna say I should have made a dig. It's like, why didn't you read out? You can't read off your fancy teleprompter.
Well, I didn't put it on my teleprompter. I forgot about it. Yeah.
It's tragic. So where does this rank? The exposition went just a tad little long for me. I know maybe it's because
always complaining.
Well,
Derek.
I got to be a little bit more stricter because I feel like I give too many names, like the top 10. I feel like I don't ever leave the top 10 ever unless it's John Stevenson, because it's terrible and it's unoriginal.
John Stevens is amazing.
And John Stevens is a what?
Is amazing.
Some
would say a natural treasure, a hero.
Sure, we'll go with that. What, number one in your hearts, I guess. I'm looking. I'm not really feeling the name this week. Like I'm not saying the exposition wasn't good, but it did go a little long in the tooth for me. I think looking at 11 through 15, we got Jebediah Elijah McCrae, Sir Elian of Reddingham, Eldrin Erevius, and Gracius Ducample, and Chaco Narax, the mighty candy dragon. Chaco Narax does hold a special place. I got to keep it at least top 15 for another week. So I'm going to put it right below that at the new number 16.
I like it. Amy says, you missed the beginning of the story. I guess because I interposed. And yeah, that's not how the name is pronounced. You give the guy that doesn't pronounce things well.
Orochimaru.
Yeah, Orochimaru. You know what I mean? What I mean? This episode of the Nerd Cave News is brought to you by the Epic Game Store, where you can support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout and our wonderful patrons. But more about that later. We've got a little juicy bit that we're going to talk about right now. In place of what you've been playing, we're going to be talking about our initial thoughts, our initial review, if you will, of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Derek, I got my thoughts, but I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts on you played about an hour, correct?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Sparking Zero so far?
So obviously it's, return to the OG fighting games, from, back in the PS2 era. I never did play a lot on the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4, but I know that some on the PS3 were not the best. Burst Limit comes to mind. But it is a nice return to form. It being on Unreal Engine looks phenomenal. A lot of the particle effects are done really well. I did play some of the story mission. I did get to about the Vegeta fight in the story. What's up, Mike? How you doing, bud? My thing with Sparking Zero is the most intriguing part. Of course, it's a story we know, but they're doing it differently. I'm not going to kind of spoil it kind of maybe just give like tad hints, but the options to like the timeline change is very intriguing.
Mm.
Get right off the bat, right in the Saiyan saga, there's a moment that happens that, at least for me, that
I think everybody knows. Like, are you talking about the Piccolo choice?
well, you talking about like, yeah, what do you go it alone or go with Piccolo to fight
Yeah.
Raditz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the choice, but then like there's a moment, and I don't know if it's caused by the choice because it's pretty canon. It's pretty much a canon event. He goes with Piccolo right off the bat. There's a choice at the end of the Raditz fight, or there's an alternate decision that happens. Like you don't make the choice, or at least I didn't get to make the choice. And that played out in the Saiyan, like in the rest when Nappa and Vegeta played out. You did save some people that did die in that altercation, at least for me. So yeah, it's different. I wonder how that'll play out further down the road. Like if it'll just keep having implications, like and it'll just cause a whole chain of events. It is different, but I'd like to see the rest of it play out. It does still it's trying to like while also have alternate events, also trying to course correct and make sure that key canon events still happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I kind of like the whole. I did kind of look at some of the other modes. Like, of course, they have a customization mode. Like, they did go a little bit more RPG heavy. Like, they did bring in. It seems like they brought in some like light RPG elements from Xenoverse and Kakarot into this game. To me, like with the customization and like the leveling up and earning the rewards from Grand Zeno. So
Yeah.
it's some different stuff. Still not like I've never been great at fighting games, but the mechanics are definitely different to like from what I'm used to from like the Budokai games. But I was getting the hang of it. Like I still can't block to save my life, but I'm learning. I'm getting a little bit better. It holds your hand a little bit more with the blocking.
Yeah, definitely. So I played around 3-ish hours of the
Okay.
game, and
Yeah, on Tuesday, right?
on Tuesday night, which was a lot of fun. I played through the Namek saga, and then
Okay.
I jumped in and I played some of Frieza's story. And then
Okay.
I jumped over to Goku Black and played some of it. So I'm just kind of jumping around.
I didn't know you could select. I guess I missed that option.
Yeah, if you go out of Goku's story, you can select the different characters and play
Oh.
as those. Um, I chose not to go with Piccolo because I was
Oh.
trying to set up because there is something that can happen in the Vegeta fight where
Oh.
do you want me to spoil it? Do you want me to?
No, but it's initial release. Let's not spoil any time altering events right
They've
away.
already kind of said it, but I won't say it. So there's something big that's supposed to happen, but
Yeah.
I didn't get it to happen. I feel like there are different like branching lines that are going to make me want to go back and play
Right.
through some things. But Derek, I gotta be honest.
Uh-oh. No.
I finished Tuesday night. I was like, am I really enjoying this game? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you're 0 for 2. If this is if you don't go back to this, you're 0 for 2
Yeah, well,
this year.
I am going back and playing more of it. I've seen more of it, but dude, like it feels like okay, like I'm thinking about like Budokai, even Budokai Tenkaichi, where it's like, okay, if I do some combos, like my ki will build up, and it does to a degree
Yeah.
in this game, but not to where it is like a lot. But
Yeah.
it feels like okay, hit, knock them away.
Yeah.
Super. Try to do as many supers as you possibly can, like get a ton of distance.
Right.
And I know that there are different classes of characters. There are some that are brawlers, some that are, more key specialists, some that are, there's speed, all of this kind of stuff. But playing from like Goku Black was probably the most fun I had out of playing so far. I played as
Yeah.
Jiren, I played as Topo, I played as Beerus, I want to say.
Mm.
I just tried some different things. I did a tournament match
Okay.
as well with Jiren. And yeah, it definitely is a challenging game. Like I know a lot of people, like there were some articles on IGN that people are getting just trounced by the Great Ape version
Yeah.
of, and I didn't seem to have that big of an issue with him. I kind of like took him out pretty easily. Amy said over on TikTok, it seemed like the game was challenging, but there are definitely moments that like I'm just like, okay, this is like kicking my butt.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the game is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to learn more of the mechanics that
Yeah.
are going on in the game. I think that's where
Because that tutorial I don't think does it justice. It gives you like the bare bones, I think.
Well, I didn't even get the tutorial.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did. I did when I chose Goku.
Yeah. Well,
Oh no, wait, no, it popped up right when you started the game.
Well, I started the game because I was getting ready for the stream.
Yeah.
And then like I closed out of the game just so like if it was like it looked like there was going to be a cutscene. So I was like, I want to save that.
Right.
So I had no tutorial. I'm just going in flipping blind through all
Interesting.
of this.
Interesting.
But I don't hate it. It's just not hitting the way that I want it to. And people talk about it and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Because this has like been my most.
There's a lot wrong with you, but you know,
true. But this has been one of my most anticipated games of the whole year, and it just feels kind of hollow in a way because it is charge up, shoot a key blast, charge up, do your super. And I was watching a few people doing like online matches and everything, and that's all they were doing. That was literally all that they were doing. So I want to see more of the branching paths. I want to see what that entails.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where later on I was fighting it was essentially a 2-person battle, and I, knocked one out.
Yeah.
And this other individual like left, and it's not canon, like with the like, so it was like just a little bit off compared to like what we're used to, which was cool to see that even little things can be shifted. Who's going, who dies, who comes back,
right?
That sort of thing. So I am enjoying it in that aspect. I think the fighting, the more I learn it, I think I will enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But right now it feels quite shallow, and I was expecting a little bit more. It just feels like charge up, do your big moves. Charge up, do your big moves. Frieza's transformations, though, freaking awesome, dude. Being able to do all the transformations, because it's been a while since we've gotten all of them.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool to see that back in the game. And of course you got the that
beam.
Yeah, that was so awesome to be able to get and see, because like you have to fight Krillin, Gohan, Vegeta, and Piccolo all as Frieza.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a long drawn out fight, and I was trying to do it just in base form.
Oh gosh.
And I almost had it. I was literally on the last one, and then I got knocked out or whatever. But I was like, okay, because I was wondering, is like, if I beat them in my base form, does it change
the story?
Yeah, the story and everything. So, just playing around and seeing what we're able to do, what we're able to change, and all of that. But who's the guy that just like utterly pummeled Vidal in the world tournament? What was his name?
Was it Spopovich or
that dude, I was fighting him in the world tournament as Jiren. I almost lost to that dude.
What?
Yes, like
bro,
he was going ham on me. Whereas like Nappa beat Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
No way. Ain't no way.
Yeah, I'm just like, somebody's smoking something up in here.
Right. I'll say the power scaling is non-existent in this one.
Yeah, 100%. But I do want to get back into it. I want to play some more, see what I really feel about it. Maybe do a little bit of the training just to see, because I feel like the breakers, like when you're getting hit a bunch and you can
Yeah.
counter or even, parry, whatever, like being able to figure that out. Also the like not instant transmission, but the vanishing, like
Oh
being able
yeah.
to I can do that when I'm like hitting them across the map, but being
Oh
able to
yeah.
like activate that on command to like get out of those situations would be really nice.
I've done it when they're trying to attack me. I don't know if it's like guard and that's like a parry move, or if I hit something else. I don't know. I'm just trying to like get away from it.
Survive.
But you're right. Yeah, survive. So it's happened to me a couple of times. So I wonder if it's like a parry move. Like you got to time it with, or is the right before they hit you, and you hit guard or whatever.
Yeah, like I've got it to happen, but it's not like consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I want to be able to try to do it consistently so I can, put together more stuff. But even like the like hand-to-hand combat does feel, and I think it's also the characters that I have used, they're definitely more key focus, blast and all of
Hmm.
that. Jiren did feel a little bit different because like he's got that kind of like brrr, like attack and all of that.
Yeah.
So he did feel a little bit different, but there are a lot of different, classes in the game that I don't feel like has been explained that much,
Yeah.
especially in the story. But um I can't wait to play more and see where I land on this. And we'll talk more about it next week, of course. But
Right.
Derek, where are you feeling right now? Like, are you feeling like pretty hopeful, or are you?
I think, well, to address Mike's question, does the game have Ultra Ego or Ultra Instinct? It does have Ultra Instinct Goku,
Mhm.
but not Ultra Ego Vegeta. I think they just go to the Universal Survival Tournament. I don't think they go anywhere past
Yeah,
where it's at in the show. So they do have Ultra Instinct, no Ultra Ego, at least yet.
yeah,
Um, where I'm at is I feel like it'll be a nice like palate cleanser for me. Like it, when I'm not feeling like getting when I get my blood boiled and I on Astrobot trying to do those stupid extra missions,
yeah,
or I'm not feeling like I need a break from Ghosts. I feel like I can boot this up and it'll just be a nice palate cleanser. Like you, I am intrigued to see how the story plays out because you and I were talking about it when I was down a couple weekends ago, and it's a story we know, so it's like we're not too enthralled with it, but the branching of the story that we do know is it does at least bring an intriguing factor to see how they mess with the timeline that we know. It
mhm,
almost feels like they well, because you kind of saw this in Xenoverse 1 and 2, right, where it's like a what if. It's like, oh, Goku didn't die in the fight with Raditz, or Nappa didn't get killed by Vegeta, or just random world
mhm.
events. And it seems like they took that and they're incorporating it, but just in a different way, and it's making
Yeah,
it choice based rather than it's like, all right, here's the story. We're like time police or whatever it is.
yeah,
So it is intriguing to see. But again, I don't know if this is something that'll keep drawing me back in after a while. Fighting games and sports games have always been like with me, like you play for a little bit, then it's like you drop it for like a couple months. But again, like you, I think the story will be what does get me to boot it up every now and then more frequently. But I'm not going to be like stuck to this is not going to overtake Ghost or whatever other games are coming out this year for me.
yeah. One thing that I did want to point out,
Hmm.
pardon me, I was fighting Frieza. It wasn't. I
Hmm.
don't think it was Goku. It might have been Goku, and I got knocked out. And then they put like the cards, like it's like Frieza, like was able to make his wish and become immortal and like all of this. And then it was like retry. But it was
Yeah.
cool that it wasn't just like, oh, retry the fight. It was like, we're actually going to show you the what if, Frieza.
Oh,
So that was pretty awesome that they had that in there. And I
yeah.
know I played 3 hours. I'm sure there's way more that I'm interested in the game. But right now it's not like, oh my God, I'm so stoked for this, which that's
Right.
how I felt like it was going to be going in. So I want to play more, but yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah.
And we'll have to do. Our plan is to do a deep review of the
Mhm.
game later this month and be talking about it. So keep tuned to that and let us know your thoughts and opinions of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I almost said Dragon Ball Super, but Dragon Ball Sparking Zero down in the comments below.
There was an S in there.
There was an S in there. Guys, it is time for the gaming discussion. And first up, forget the Switch 2. Nintendo just released a $100 interactive alarm clock called Alarmo.
Nintendo's new Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo is a $100 interactive alarm clock launching in early 2025. It features motion sensor technology that allows users to snooze and stop the alarm with gestures. Players can wake up to sounds from Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and other iconic titles. Alarmo includes customizable modes like steady and gentle for varied alarm intensities, along with sleep tracking features and soothing sounds for bedtime. Free updates will add scenes from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing New Horizon. So this thing gets free updates. This is, again, it's a weird Nintendo decision, man. And kudos to them because apparently Pokemon Sleep wasn't doing it justice. So they're like, hey, let's do this. It is weird that they're doing Breath of the Wild and not what was the other one? But what was
Tears
the
of the
sequel?
Kingdom.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Like that's the more recent one. But and I did see a little bit of a preview video of this. It's like because you have to have it facing you, and it's like if you essentially hit snooze, like it takes away points or like it grades you badly for your sleep. Whereas, and if you like sleep, what was it? It was like 50 minutes past and like basically scolds you for doing this. But if you wake up on time, it like celebrates like, yay, you got up on the first try type thing. But it's got to be facing you, which is a little weird because, the guy
It's got to be watching
technology
you.
is already facing me enough. Like I don't need it to like watch me while I sleep.
That's my job.
See, why you gotta make it weird?
Why not?
I guess.
Amy over on TikTok says, Alarmo, girl, what?
Right.
Like, in something that came out about this is it's only for single people. It will not work if there are two people in the bed.
That's even weirder. What the heck?
It's like, hey, you weirdo. We know you don't have anyone in your life, so this clock's for you.
It's like, hey, you have no one to wake you up. We will. We're there for you. And it's like, okay.
And what's interesting is like as you like if you're laying like it does track your sleep to see hey you're tossing and turning a lot, you're not getting enough rest.
Right.
But as you wake up, it will start like you start moving as like the alarm goes off. It will start playing sounds from whatever game it is and all of that, and then celebrate you as you get up.
Yeah.
I think this is probably one of the weirdest Nintendo decisions that we've had in a very, very long time.
For sure.
But dude, people are going to buy this. We absolutely know they're going to buy this.
It's like, hey, we know you eagerly anticipating Switch 2, but here's an alarm clock that you get to play with.
Yeah. Andy Cortez bought one.
Of course he did. That dude is like, even though he's a PC gamer, he oozes Nintendo because he's just as weird as them.
Yeah, 100%. But the weird Nintendo discussion doesn't stop there because today, Mystery Nintendo Switch Online playtest generates tons of wild speculation.
So Nintendo recently announced a mysterious Nintendo Switch Online playtest, which filled up quickly. While details are limited, participants must have a Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership, be 18 or older, and reside in certain regions, with the download size being 2.2 gigabytes. Speculation includes theories of an ARMS 2 playtest, the return of Miiverse, or testing a cloud-based streaming service. The playtest begins on October 20th, the anniversary of the Nintendo Switch's 2016 reveal, fueling rumors of Switch 2 connections. Fans eagerly await more details. I don't know. All of those speculations sound cool, but knowing Nintendo, it'll just be something for Switch Online, like basically better server test. Or I don't know, maybe it's cool, maybe it's an Unreal 5 engine demo for the Switch that, to see if how it'll run on how it'll run on Switch or like its successor. I don't know. Obviously, I think this could lead to the Switch 2. I mean, I still don't think we get an official announcement maybe until Game Awards, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. But then again, the Switch. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, because it was revealed in 2016. Maybe they do it in time for the anniversary. I don't know.
I doubt that. I feel like
Yeah.
this is whatever it is going to be brought over to the Switch 2. Like that's 100%
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
But having the 2.2 gigabytes of free space, I think, is the key there. It's not just something small, it's actually
Right.
going to take up space. And this is requiring more of the hardcore fans than just your normal, because they have to have not just Nintendo Online, they have to have the expansion pass to
Right.
be able to do this. So they know that this is the hardcore of the hardcore.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
like people that want the expansion pass care about nostalgia. They care
Yes.
about the older games. And I saw a lot of rumors, a lot of hints that maybe it is them bringing the GameCube games to the expansion pack, because we had
Yeah.
the N64, so the GameCube would be the next set of games.
Right. And people have been waiting for that for a while, too.
Yeah, 100%. Now, some others, it could be the Miiverse thing. I don't really see them doing that. I don't
Yeah.
yeah, it would be cool, but I don't think that's necessary at this point. Like,
Yeah.
we've gone through a whole console generation. Others have been, oh, well, what if they are getting rid of the friend code and coming up with like gamer tags? And
I don't know if you would do that.
yeah, I don't think they would either, because like their whole thing of like keeping kids safe, like,
Right.
And then other people are like, well, what if it's trophies or achievements, that sort of deal. So
I don't know. That would be cool, and it would definitely be. But again, two things with that would be: does Nintendo, if Nintendo's hasn't cared up until this point, why would they start caring now?
Yep.
And also think of their fan base. Like, yes, there are adults and there are college students who play this, but it's mostly kids, and kids would not care if kids don't even know, like, they get achievements or trophies. There's like, oh, what's this cool animation feature, and then never check it out. They're not going to check out that either on the Switch.
Yeah, because you look back at it, achievements have been around since the 360 era, and it was
Correct.
huge. PlayStation brought in trophies, and Nintendo was just like, they
Right.
never did it. So they've had a very, very long time to bring that in. So I think it's going to be more of something online. It might be, them infrastructurally testing, okay, we're putting, GameCube games on here. How is that going to go? So
Now,
again,
do you think the test would be more for Nintendo to see how it would run on their servers, like how it would run on their servers going forward on the Switch 2, or it would be more of like a test to see if people want this, or both?
I think it might be a little bit of both, but I think it is to essentially, okay, if you got 10,000 people on this day downloading 2.2 gigabytes worth of data, that's a pretty good stress test of what your servers can do.
True.
And I know, again, that's not a ton, but it's like Nintendo, like, they have fixed a lot of issues with their online service over the years, but it's still not in the same ballpark as PlayStation or Nintendo.
True.
So like having this it's a good way for them to prep and get ready for the Switch 2 launch, because they want that to be a solid thing. And it could be even new servers that they're bringing online that they want to test out. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything like crazy amazing. I think it's just more infrastructure stuff, and they want to have a good sample. Like 10,000 people, again, is a lot of people, and they can see what it's actually doing.
True.
So, Only time will tell. We only got about a week until this happens, and we'll know what Nintendo has been up to. And it's kind of crazy that the spots have already filled.
Right.
But we're gone from Nintendo World and their weird decisions, and it's time for some PlayStation news. Rumor, Fire Sprite is making a sequel to Until Dawn. There's going to be a new ending, as my teleprompter just shot me in the foot, Derek. Shot me in the foot. New ending in the PS5 remaster points to follow up a sequel to Until Dawn. Okay, there we go. You got it, Derek. Boom.
A sequel, and then this is minor spoilers for this 10-year-old game at this point. So if you don't want anything to know how about one of the endings happens, turn away for a minute. A sequel to Until Dawn is rumored to be in development by Fire Sprite Studios, according to Xbox Era's Nick Baker. This comes after the PS5 remaster of Until Dawn was released with a new ending, where characters like Josh and Sam have altered fates. Josh now survives the Wendigo attack, and Sam suffers from PTSD with a hallucination scene suggesting further storyline developments. These changes have led to fans to speculate about an upcoming sequel, and Baker claims to have heard about it in advance, confirming Fire Sprite's involvement. First off, I know people have been wanting a sequel. Like, I know we got a spiritual successor a couple years ago in the Quarry, and that kind of reignited the want for Until Dawn, because that same studio went and did the Dark Pictures anthology, and it started off okay, and then it just kind of tailored off from there. Like, it went from good to bad to decent at the end with The Devil in Me. However, people wanted to get back to that true like Until Dawn, like what Supermassive was known for, but like what made them put it on the map. And the Quarry kind of gave them, like, satiated them for a little bit, and then they got what they really wanted in a PS5 remaster. Now, if this is true about a potential sequel, that'd be great. And it's funny that we're already getting Fire Sprite, the small little studio, is doing remaster and then getting a sequel, whereas we still don't know what Blue Point is up to. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. But I did like Until Dawn for what it's worth, and I think because of how most of the endings happened in Until Dawn, obviously there was the rare occasion where you could save everyone in the group, and then the other one where everyone didn't survive. And I guess they did this extra ending just to kind of like shoehorn in like an out for them, just in case they, like a sequel was greenlit. So that way they have a way to come back and say, oh, well, most of this from we're going with most of the canon ending from the remaster of Until Dawn. And if it's more options for more characters to survive, we're going to go with that and base our next story off of that. But I would also like to see, kind of in the vein of, the Dark Pictures anthology, like maybe do a new cast of characters, like still be in the Until Dawn universe, but maybe do it with a new cast of characters with whoever survived from your save file, or whoever the canon ending, like survived in the canon ending, brought over into that basically like midway through, and it's like, hey, we've been through this before. Let us help you survive type deal. Zach, I know you're not the big horror aficionado. I know you did play a little bit Until Dawn. I know you did like it for what it was worth. Do you want to see a sequel? Because spoiling some of the PlayStation quickies, the PC version of this remaster is not playing well. So it's not one of the better remasters out there. But that aside, just knowing what you know from Until Dawn, does this excite you at all? Do you want to see a sequel in this universe?
I think it would be interesting. I did really like Until Dawn. I played through the whole thing. Did an old Let's Play, if you want to check that one out. And I thought it was a great game. It had a lot of interesting things. The tension was there. It wasn't like, yes, there was blood, there was gore, but I felt like for the most part, it was more suspense than horror.
Right. Because you didn't know what choice or what action you did would affect a character's fate or the story.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, you have all of these cast of characters. Some of them you absolutely hate, some of them you really like, and then you accidentally pick a trap door and then Ashley dies. You
Yeah.
know?
Or,
Yeah.
you activate a bear trap and one of your characters loses a few fingers.
That's fine too. That's fine too. But yeah, I think it would be pretty cool to see. Amy says Until Dawn was so good. It was like the whole reason I wanted to play it was because of watching Markiplier.
Yeah.
And then, I played my own and I really liked it. And I know they went and did like a VR title that didn't do great and then did
No.
Dark Anthology. But it's like, okay, we know that people like this. We know that it's successful. Let's go back and we get the remaster, but let's continue the story. And like you said, like having like a canon, like locked in thing. It's like, yeah, you might have experienced this, but this is ultimately leads to the canon event
Mm-hmm.
and then go from there. Because if, let's say, my version, Ashley died because the Wendigo got her,
Right.
and like me playing it, it would suck for that person. You know what I mean? It would be
Yeah.
like they did all of this work, and then how many people, because they might have hated that character, how many times did Josh die, or I
Right.
can't remember the other people's names, but it was like this one dude I really, really hated. But like, he's not even seen in the game because everybody hated him, or he died because it was super easy or whatever. So I don't know if they necessarily do it where all the characters survive, but I think having what they've done here is probably the better way of doing it.
Right. So, and out of the sequel, like, do you want to see more of like a sequel with the same cast, or like what I suggested, where new cast of characters, but like maybe bring over the ones that survived from the previous game?
It's that weird kind of like horror trope of, you usually have a new cast of characters,
Mm-hmm.
brand new, they don't know what's going on, but then having that person that has experienced it is also a trope.
Yeah.
So I think they probably lean into that. And it
Probably.
probably will be a different supernatural kind of thing instead of a Wendigo, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really cool, um, you know, beast or whatever you want to
Yeah.
say, to have in this game. And then having, I don't want to spoil anything for the people that have, watch, but it was like the combo of the Wendigo and the guy in the mask and everything.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if the story is good, I think they could use whatever they want in all of that.
True.
So
So,
yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see what they do. They're probably have Fire Sprite's doing better than Firewalk is. So
that's not hard to do.
yeah, but let's jump into the PlayStation quickies.
So first up, PS5 Pro developers confirmed that PSSR quality and performance has been improving since day one. In a weird bit of news, PlayStation Move controller is used to perform surgery on a pig that was 5,780 miles away. Refurbished PS5s are now being sold by Sony on PS Direct. PS Plus Extra and Premium games for October have been announced, and the highlights include Dead Island 2, the Dark Pictures anthology The Devil in Me, 2 Point Campus, Gree, Return to Monkey Island, and Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed. Until Dawn's movie adaptation has wrapped filming. Until Dawn on PC is one of Sony's lowest performing titles on the platform so far. Silent Hill 2's original director says he is very happy about Bloober Team's remake. Following that, early Silent Hill 2 remake mods remove the hair sheen, the fog, and even turn the game into sunny hills. Detroit Become Human has sold upwards of 10 million units. Bungie is being sued for allegedly copying sci-fi authors' work for Destiny 2's Red War story. Little Big Planet 3 will not be available to buy digitally on the PlayStation 4 from October 31st. Sony delists original Horizon Zero Dawn on PC and forces PSN requirement for the remaster. The Last of Us Part 1 player count receives huge boosts thanks to the PS Plus Extra release. And lastly, God of War Ragnarok PS5 Pro enhanced support confirmed on the PlayStation Store.
Like, I feel like PlayStation 9 times out of 10 wants to tick off PC gamers.
Oh, for sure.
Because the whole, we're going to pull Horizon
Yeah.
off, so you have to buy the remaster. And then, like the requiring the PSN account is one thing, but like pulling the cheaper version.
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
then doubling the price on PlayStation from $20 to $40. Like, what is it about Horizon? Like, Sony loves it so much, but then it like also screws over the people, the fans of it, because you have the doubling of the price on PlayStation, removing it from the PC and forcing you to buy the remaster and have to do that stupid PSN requirement. Because if you remember, it started back with Forbidden West, where it's like, PS5 people, you have to, I forget how much you have to pay, or you won't get a free upgrade from the PlayStation 4 version. And people are like, you said, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, you will now, it was a $10 upgrade. That's when they started their $10 upgrade program. And it's like, you said it was a free upgrade. And it's like, okay, we'll honor that because you caught us. But after this, any kind of PS4 to PS5 updates you want to do, you have to pay for going forward. And it started with Forbidden West. And it's like, why Horizon, man? Why y'all got to screw the fans so much of Horizon?
I don't know, dude. Like, it feels like they've got a flipping vendetta
right
on this. I don't know, dude. It just, and they always release it at the worst possible time too. Like,
right.
Usually you release the first one and then Link comes in, hiya. Like,
right.
Just like, they constantly do stupid stuff like that. And it's like, you want people to be like engaged. You want people to buy this game and play it because it is an amazing world, great story. And just like, I think Aloy as a character has definitely grown since the first game. But it's like your business practices are just
hurting it.
Yeah, over and over and over again. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. But what I do know is that everybody should make sure to subscribe to the Nerd Cave News on podcast services of your choice and over on YouTube. If you're watching over on TikTok right now, go ahead, hit that follow button. We're live here each and every week on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we stream on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, playing games and all that good stuff. We love getting to chat and talk about all of the video game news that you need to know. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, and if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. That's what my mama told me. That's what my mama told me.
If you don't have nothing to say, just go away.
Now we're going to talk crap about Ubisoft. Ubisoft founding Guillermo family and Tencent reportedly considering taking the company private amid high-profile flops and share price collapse.
So Ubisoft's Guillemot family and Tencent are considering taking the company private after a tough year, marked by game flops and a 54% drop in share price. Games like X-Defiant and Star Wars Outlaws failed to meet expectations, while Assassin's Creed Shadows was delayed into next year. Amid the turmoil, Ubisoft employees have scheduled a strike, and the company has ditched its Epic Games Store exclusivity in favor of day one Steam releases to boost sales. Ubisoft's share price saw a 26% rebound after news of the potential buyout surfaced. In response to the reports, Ubisoft issued a vague statement acknowledging the speculation but not confirming any specific actions. They emphasized their focus on two core strategies: open world adventure and games as a service experiences. Although the potential buyout is only in the extraordinary stage, the company's recent struggles, including disappointing second quarter results, have forced them to reevaluate their business model. The Guillemot family holds just over 20% of Ubisoft's shares, while Tencent owns around 9%. While the talks may not result in a buyout, the news has sparked speculation about how Ubisoft might stabilize amidst a challenging market, compounded by internal cultural concerns about a delayed product lineup. The company's goal now is to address execution issues while navigating the turbulent video game industry. And, we talked about probably about a month or so ago about how like one of the investors calls for them to do this. But as we read, as we discussed, the investors say, "Oh, just let us take control of it, or give it to someone who's just going to be a corporate puppet and just find us ways to pad our pockets." So again, I'm all for ways about, if it hands over the reins to make the company better, so be it, because the gamers win in the end. However, hopefully it doesn't hopefully they don't decide to go with that guy's strategy and just worry about padding the pockets of your investors. So it's weird that, I think we were talking about, it's like, I think we ultimately, both of us decided probably not in the best interest to do that for Ubisoft. And it's weird that this is now maybe possibly an actual idea, like not to the fullest extent, but at least they're talking about maybe going private, or at least privately owned. And of course, their core strategies of open world and games as a service, like open world, not so bad, but Ubisoft, like not so bad in theory, but Ubisoft's is very like checkboxy, like very barren worlds. And then, but that dreaded, that curse word, just pretty much games as a service, that failing ideology, that apparently they're sticking their guns with. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully they look at themselves in the mirror and realize, like, hey, what we did in the past was good. Like, it made us a ton of money. We were super successful. We were arguably one of the top third party publishers in the world in our heyday. But now it's like, what are we doing wrong? Like, is our business model the future going forward? And let's see what we can do differently. Maybe letting someone else take the reins that has gamers in mind, not taking this idiot's ideas of like just giving it to a corporate puppet.
Yeah. I'm glad that they are going the route of moving away from exclusivity on Epic Game Store and putting it on Steam, because Steam is the larger platform for PC gaming, and they really need to do everything they can to get a toehold, at least, for
Right.
PC gamers. That being said, you got to have games that people want to play, and the games that people love from Ubisoft are old games.
Yeah.
They're things that we got back in the day, Black Flag, to, the Splinter Cell games, to, some of the really good Tom Clancy games. But the things that we've been getting recently, like Far Cry, has not been great in years.
Nope. Like 3 was its peak. 4 was good, but then after that it decided
just
like 5 had an interesting concept, but then it hurt the story, because it's like, oh, you get to pick which area. We're not going to give you a golden path. You get to pick which area, and it's like, cool, like that's an intriguing idea, rather than locking half the map behind a story lock. But then it's like, oh, it feels like it's hurting the continuity of the story, and it's just like separate episodes instead of like a whole like entity.
Yeah.
For the story. So, and then 6, like they're like, in Ubisoft, that's another thing too. Ubisoft is just relying on big name actors. Like Giancarlo Esposito is a great actor. I feel like he was a good villain in Far Cry 6 from the previews I saw, but I don't know what the final game was, because we all thought Troy Baker voicing Pagan Min was great, and then you barely saw Pagan Min in Far Cry 4 at all until the end.
Yeah. And it's just like they are now relying on other people's IP, Star Wars, and Outlaws comes out and just totally bombs because it's not a great game. Mm-hmm. We both put money down to get the game early, and it was just like, man, this is not it. And then
played it for a week and I never went back.
Yeah, you have Astrobot that's like way better.
Yeah.
And it's not even relying on an outsourced IP. So with the family, over at Ubisoft, I feel like they are not in touch with what's going on. Plus, you also have the strikes that are going on. People are not wanting to work there. They're constantly laying people off and demanding people work more and harder to be able to make up this stuff. And Assassin's Creed is their only way out of this. That's how they look at it. That's how they are developing games. And it's sad to see, because there were some really great Ubisoft games. And I'm just going to say it one more time, Derek.
Yeah.
Where in the world is Splinter Cell? My God.
Sam Fisher. So,
I'm so tired of not getting Splinter Cell.
You're help me, Sam Fisher. You're my only hope.
Yeah. We get a show before we get, a new we'll get GTA 6 before we get a new Splinter Cell.
We'll probably get what is it? Beyond Good and Evil 2 before we get a new Splinter Cell.
Yeah, and like PlayStation has learned from this, and I think it's something definitely in this day and age you've got to learn when to cut things loose.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation let a lot of things go for a really long time. That Guardian game should have been
Last
killed.
Guardian, yeah.
Yeah, Last Guardian should have been killed instead of letting it go 15 years. Same thing with
Dreams.
It's like you have to rein in your creatives at times. And this is coming from a creative, okay?
Yeah.
I am a creative through and through, but sometimes you've got to have a real world outlook, and that is fine to have because you want people to actually play your stuff.
Yes.
Beyond Good and Evil is never coming out.
No.
If it does, then
when's the last time we even saw anything on it? Like 2017?
It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, I think Aisha Tyler was still doing the Ubisoft events. They weren't called Forwards back then, but
no.
Yeah, I think that's the last time we saw one. And then we also, just another, just punch at Ubisoft here. We also got Skull and Bones finally, and you want to know how much it was on sale for Prime, Derek?
$5?
It was $12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it came out in February.
And you know what's sad is too, and it came out and it was somewhat of a decent launch. I mean, it came out decently, like better than we all expected, but
True.
Helldivers 2 came out that same time and nobody cared.
Yep, exactly. And it's just sad. It's sad to see these powerhouses of what gaming used to be, but they're not learning what people want in this day and age.
Yep.
And it is not Fortnite. Like Fortnite does tons of money, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But people want games that tell stories. That's why PlayStation utterly just rakes in money left and right, because they actually tell a story. And yes, like multiplayer games are great, but you gotta have a good story in all of this. So
you can tell a story within a good multiplayer game.
Yeah, 100%.
Helldivers.
Yeah, Helldivers. Great example of it. And something that used to be a great example is Halo. We got some Halo news for everybody. Future Halo games are moving to Unreal Engine 5 as 343 Industry rebrands. Multiple projects are in development.
So the future of the Halo franchise is undergoing a massive transformation. During the Halo World Championships, 343 Industries announced it is rebranding as Halo Studios and transitioning to Unreal Engine for all future projects, leaving behind the Slipspace engine used for Halo Infinite. This shift follows struggles with Slipspace's outdated tools, some dating back 25 years, which is why they had to delay Infinite and why it looked like utter trash the first time we saw it, which made development challenging. A tech demo, Project Foundry, was showcased, offering a glimpse of this new direction. Under the leadership of Pierre Hintz and Elizabeth Van Wyck, Halo Studios is now developing multiple new projects. The move to Unreal Engine is intended to improve development efficiency and quality. Chris Matthews, art director, mentioned the limitations of the Slipspace engine compared to the modern advancements of Unreal, which has been continuously developed by Epic Games. The Switch is expected to provide the tools necessary for new Halo experiences, freeing the studio to focus more on delivering high-quality games. Project Foundry, though just a demo, symbolizes a fresh start for the franchise. The rebranding also follows significant leadership changes, including the departure of former studio GM Bonnie Ross and series vet Joseph Staten. The reset is a part of a broader effort to realign the Halo series, with new management promising multiple new experiences and a return to form for Xbox's flagship franchise. The announcement coincides with Xbox's plans for a next generation successor to the Series X and S, reinforcing the studio's ambition to deliver cutting edge titles in the years to come. By moving on from Halo Infinite's troubled development and focusing on Unreal Engine, Halo Studios hopes to lay a stronger foundation for the future of the series, emphasizing quality and innovation across multiple upcoming titles. So, obviously, at face value, this is all great. Like, obviously, Unreal Engine 5 is taking the world by storm. Like, I know Unreal Engine always does great with their gaming engines, but 5 just seems to be the one where it's going to like take game like graphics and development to like the next level, it seems like, and just keep pushing that envelope. So the fact that Halo's moving to this is huge, and I think the renaming, the rebranding is smart, because ever since 343 has taken over, it has put a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, I know you have said it constantly over the course over the years we've done this. Like Halo 4, you're like, what the crap is this? Halo 5 was like utter trash, like story wise. A multiplayer and like all the multiplayers were good, but it's like you get to play Halo for the story. The multiplayer is just a cherry on top. Halo 5's story was utter garbage, and Halo Infinite had, like, we talked about it, we reviewed it. It had a very promising story, and the ending was like, and they talk, and again, grandiose plans always seem great in the moment, but then the execution is a whole different ball of wax. And they were talking about, oh, we're going to keep this game going for years to come. Like, it's going to be infinity, blah blah blah. And the way they ended on a cliffhanger on the story, it's like, oh, cool, DLC options, blah blah blah. And then it's like nothing happened, and now they're going to have to pretty much restart again. But I love this. I think rebranding the name to pretty much spit the bad taste out of your mouth from 343 and just call Halo Studios, I think is the right move. Moving to Unreal Engine 5 is the right move. But again, all of this in hindsight is great. You've got to execute it now. You've got to give people what they want. And I was listening to Kind of Funny the other day when this broke, and Paris Lilly was talking about, in a year and a half, 2 years from now, 2026 is the 25th anniversary of Xbox. So what better way to celebrate the console than by giving it its, the game that started it all, and an anniversary of Halo 1 in Unreal Engine 5. And, obviously the turnaround is doable for that one game. Like, people are saying like, oh, why not just the whole Master Chief collection? I think to do the assets, to do all 4, well, actually 6 games, if you want to include the fact that they added ODST, the fact that they added Reach, is going to take a lot. So, and game development just gets more and more, and it just gets more difficult over the years. So I think remastering Halo 1, like going back to basics, going back to the beginning, like, obviously it's not a remaster of 1, but the way Gears is doing it, like going to E-Day, like starting from the very beginning, like even before the beginning of the franchise, like starting day one, where all of it hit the fan, essentially. So I like the initial concept, but now I want to see the follow through from Halo Studios. And the other multiple projects in development. The only thing bad about the rebrand is the fact that they're still shoehorning themselves into just making Halo instead of doing like maybe other projects. Like Naughty Dog and Santa Monica, like, yes, they are known for Last of Us, Uncharted, and God of War, but they don't shoehorn themselves in with their names, so that way they can branch out and do other projects if their creative mind suggests. So, but again, like, this may open the door for more Halo projects, like tell other stories in the Halo universe, like maybe an ODST2, maybe. I don't know, like just spitballing ideas. Like, Zach, I know you've been a Halo person for a very long time. You played a lot of Infinite multiplayer, the lone wolf, as they say. What tell me, what does this do for you? Like the rebranding, the multiple projects, the move to Unreal Engine 5, like, just give me the whole package deal. What does this do for you?
It feels like false promises, to be 1,000% honest.
Well,
they've had 4, 5, and Infinite. They've had 3 games to prove that they can actually handle this franchise. And the reason why I liked Infinite as much as I did is because the gameplay felt really, really good compared to 4 and 5. That
Right.
like, it did not feel like Halo. This one did feel like Halo. So I thought they did a really good job of that. But the, promise of more content and then the multiplayer where the seasons were extremely long,
Yeah.
just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And just because you call something by a different name doesn't mean that it's better than what it
Hmm.
was.
Right.
I could call you Zach and doesn't mean you're any better than you are right now.
I don't become a whole person. I'm still the half.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is like you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd.
Right. But
And
again, they changed the leadership, so that's got to somewhat
dude,
account for something a
Bonnie
little bit, right?
Ross has been gone for a while. Like we reported
Yeah.
on that like a year ago. So these people have been in place for quite some time.
Yeah.
And just for me as a Halo fan, as somebody that put in time on Halo Infinite, have played every single Halo game, didn't finish 5 because man, that story was awful. But when I think of Halo, it is a great game. It's
Hmm.
not just, oh, we have multiple projects in the work.
Right.
Like I enjoyed the RTS game, the Halo Wars. I loved
Yeah.
Halo Wars 1 and 2. I thought they were amazing games. I didn't get to play a ton of Spartan Assault, but I thought it was a really cool way of getting into the universe,
Yeah.
doing a top-down experience. But when you can't even execute on what the franchise is supposed to be,
Yeah.
that makes it really hard. And when you promise a game is going to last for 10 years, it's very Bungie-esque. They were
Yeah.
definitely following in that space and everything. Just renaming yourself Halo Studios isn't going to make me believe you. You've
Right.
got to earn that. That's where
Right.
I'm at on this. Is like you have to earn the right for me to be excited, because I remember when we started seeing gameplay of Infinite and I was like, dang, I was like, this is going to be awesome. Because before that, I was very skeptical, if you
Right.
remember, because it looked like crap. It
Yeah.
looked awful. And I was like, man, this is going to be bad for Halo once again.
Right.
So just to, wrap all my ideas up, I hope that we do get a great Halo game. I hope that we finally get breath in the lungs of this long dormant behemoth of a franchise. I just don't know if 343 Halo Studios, whatever the crap you want to call them, I don't think that they're the team unless they do some major rehauling.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not even blaming Bonnie Ross at this point. Like, you've got to have the people, and they've downsized this group, you know, during one of their massive layoffs, Xbox
Right.
and all of that. So we'll see. We'll see. I
Well,
just,
hey, the
I don't
coalition's a
believe it.
sports studio. Maybe they'll come and help. You know.
Well, and that's interesting. You brought up, like Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, and all of them. Like they're
Mhm.
not tied to it, but I feel like Xbox is not that way. They literally named the coalition after the government that is in Gears of War.
Right.
Same thing now, Halo Studios. It's like they're more of like old school in their thought in that way. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
you're going to make these games and you're going to like it.
Right.
If you want to even want to make those games, you go work for those people. So I don't know, dude. And I would love to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments as well. It's like, are you excited about where the future of Halo is going to go? Now, Derek,
Mhm.
what do you want to see? Like they said, multiple projects. Like, what is like? I know you brought up an ODST2,
Mhm.
but like, what is like one thing that's like, man, I wish we could experience X.
Give me if you want to do something different because we didn't really see this faction too much in the 343 trilogy, if you will. Give me a horror game about the flood. Like,
Mm,
that would be great. Like, I know that's been tossed around a few times by different sources, different people, like just as like ideas. Give me a horror game centered on the flood, and you're playing as like the brutes or like the arbiter or like the arbiter and like just like you have to go into the enemy territory of the flood to get out this like object that'll help you or whatever quest that you need, and you have to pretty much face your demons essentially in the flood.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to see. I know, like you said, people have wanted that for a really long time.
Yeah.
For me, I would love to see, like, it doesn't even have to be wrapped around like the UNSC and Master Chief.
Yeah.
Like, go like back in time, like the Sangheili, which is the elites, like
Hmm.
their like fight against the Covenant before they got brought into the
Oh,
Covenant,
yeah.
or the Covenant like as they like grow,
Yeah.
and like
Like
taking in.
the starting foundation of the covenant.
Yeah, like I think that would be a really cool and interesting way of showing this group that we've seen in the past games and the corruption that
Yeah.
there was, but where did it start? Who was the leaders? And like having that kind of like religious zealots, like going and just dominating, culture after culture,
Yeah.
and like building the covenant. I think that
It's
would be really
essentially like a
cool.
Thanos move, because that's what Thanos did to build his army. He just went through different civilizations, like I'm going to conquer you, take you, take you. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool to see.
Yeah. I think, doing something that, like, if you do it well and you go away from the Master Chief,
Yeah.
I think you could have something that stands on its own.
Yeah.
And then you could have another game. Like, I'm not saying that be the main one, but like have a game that's like that. It could even be RTS or whatever.
True.
And,
Halo Wars 3.
yeah, do something different. Do something
Yeah.
different.
Express your creative juices. Don't just focus on giving. Yes, yes. Having an FPS Halo with grid multiplayer is at the foundation of what Halo is, and you can still have that, but express your creative juices. Like, you've done it a little bit here and there. Like, and I mean, to go back to Sony for a minute, like, yeah, it's not the best, but again, like Guerrilla Games, they're branching out. They're doing a multiplayer game for Horizon. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to be. We don't even officially, they said it's surviving, but we don't even know if it's really a proof of concept yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, just don't be afraid to express your creative juices. If you got a great idea, try it. I mean, the road that they faced as 343 was so bumpy already, like you have nowhere to go but up from this point.
Yeah. And there's a ton of lore. Like,
Yes.
you could even build a game that is around the insurgents before the
Yes.
Covenant attack, and you could have like, oh, you're half the time you're playing as an insurgent, and then half of the time you're playing as the UNSC, and like you're seeing both sides. You could even go to the building of the Spartans, touch on all of that. There's so
Yeah.
much, because the insurgents wasn't just like a little like one planet. It was literally throughout all of the planets.
Yeah.
Like, there was just more and more of that, and I think that would be a really cool thing that we see in the books that would be awesome to see in the games. And you know what else would be awesome, Derek?
What is that?
Some Patreon quick hits. The Patreon quick hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go and support the Nerd Cave by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership to help us continue to make awesome shows just like this one. Become part of the ship, part of the crew at patreon.com/nerdcave. We are a 1.5 person business here, okay? We're just as Greg Miller says, a mom and grop shop. And
Yeah.
Derek's the mom, I'm the grop, you know what I mean? And it's,
Yeah.
all your support helps us be able to make not only Nerd Cave news, but our streams on Tuesday and Eat Sleep Anime, all of the cool stuff that we're doing here at the Nerd Cave. It is much, much appreciated. So shout out to all of the awesome people that have gone over there and grabbed a Nerd Cave membership on Patreon. And now it is time for the Patreon quick hits.
So starting off, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater difficulty will change depending on the perspective you select. Red Dead Redemption's lead designer and Mario plus Rabbids creator team up to create new studio Day for Night. Star Wars Outlaws update changes to stealth combat made to reduce player friction. Disney Dreamlight Valley's Jungle Getaway is out now and revamps the Lion King realm with Timon and Pumbaa. From Software is increasing its average employee salary by nearly 12%. What a concept. Pal World PS5 launches in Japan, and the dev vows to continue to launch exciting and large-scale updates. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 dev says big budget games are failing in part because teams are overscoping their projects. World of Warcraft's latest expansion wiped out some guilds' inventories, seemingly for good, and players are furious. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is the first game in the series to not credit Shigeru Miyamoto. Following that, Echoes of Wisdom players are finding creative new ways to win horse races. Avatar The Last Airbender is getting a AAA RPG from Saber Interactive and Paramount Game Studios. BioWare announces that Dragon Age The Veilguard has gone gold. Let's go. Following that, Veilguard is the first game in the series to not have spiders. Itagaki Games is still operational following reports of its closure, but still hasn't shipped a game yet. Assassin's Creed Mirage will hit Steam later this month. Halo Infinite is officially getting a third-person mode in November. Nintendo Museum adds fascinating lost prototypes, including a Wii remote that looks like a fidget spinner. Creative Assembly confirms that Alien Isolation is officially getting a sequel. Following that, according to a new job listing, Alien Isolation 2 is built on Unreal Engine 5. Ubisoft says it regularly reviews strategic options in response to buyout reports. Rumor, Ubisoft plans to have 10 Assassin's Creed games out in the next 5 years, including a Black Flag remake. Google will have to open the Play Store to competitors after losing in the Epic Games case. Teen becomes first Tetris NES player to clear level 255 and achieve the mythical rebirth. Fallout Nuevo Mexico looks to do for New Vegas what Fallout London did for Fallout 4. Switch modder, who refused to shut down, now takes to court against Nintendo without a lawyer. Tequila Works announces layoffs and a project cancellation. Roblox accused of lying to investors, regulators, advertisers, and compromising child safety to report growth. Following that, Roblox refutes the Hindenburg report and calls the claim misleading. Sega is working on a movie adaptation of the Shinobi franchise with Universal Pictures. WB Montreal job listing suggests it's working on a AAA DC Comics game. Ryo Gagatoko Studio originally wanted a spin-off game called Like a Dragon Tuna with Kazuma Kiryu as a fisherman. A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead has microphone noise detection that lets the monsters hear you in real life. Nintendo hopes Alarmo will establish a new convention for waking up. Following that, Alarmo has a fascinating connection to late Nintendo president Satoru Iwata. Firaxis is working with Shawnee to ensure authentic, sincere recreation and acknowledges past missteps in franchise's treatment of history. This is referring to Civilization 7. Resident Evil 2 Remake hits iPhone and Mac on December 31st. Paradox is done with Vampire Masquerade after Bloodlines 2 debacle and says Bloodlines 3 will be done by someone else. Respawn is disclosing Apex Legends loot box odds in even greater detail now. Red Dead Redemption finally has a PC release date of October 29th, which is 14 years after it first launched. And lastly, Nintendo opens applications to join Switch Online playtest for a mysterious new feature, which we talked about earlier that I forgot to take out. But that's okay. Zach, Red Dead Redemption is finally coming to PC after so many years. Get excited.
I'm excited as my camera goes black on me. Yeah, it's never too late for Red Dead. You know what I mean? Like the first one is probably still my favorite of the three, if you count Red Dead Revolver in that. But did you ever play Red Dead Revolver?
Nope.
It's super arcadey, but it's really good. I enjoyed it back in the day because it's nothing like the other two. Nothing like the other two. But yeah, we're not going to get GTA 6 this year, so let the PC people be happy. And I'm sure we're going to be reporting once it comes out that it's sold like gangbusters.
Oh yeah, and the modding community already go ham with it.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to see it like up-resed and look as good as Red Dead Redemption 2, and
Right.
maybe I'll go back and play it then. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I wonder, it's like someone playing Red Dead 2 and then Red Dead,
Right.
because I will say Red Dead Redemption, a
Mm-hmm.
little confusing when you start the game. It's like, I don't know why you're hunting these people down. It's like they used to be my friends, and then you get Dutch, which I feel like would be way sweeter now.
Yeah.
Like knowing what I know about the first game, playing it, and like taking out Dutch.
Yeah.
Did you finish it, Derek?
I never played either one. I never played the first one, and I did the Greg Miller thing where I was just like, what Route 2 was not hitting with me, and I'm just like, I'm good.
Boo.
Shame. I know.
That's bad, Derek. Shame on you. Shame. Well, there you have it, everybody. That is this episode of the Nerd Cave News. We hope that you have enjoyed it. We'll be back Tuesday, where I'll be playing some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, seeing if my thoughts and opinions change over the next week or so, because we will be doing a deep dive review on the game, and we're going to be giving all our thoughts then. So come and join us there, guys, and go over and check us out over on patreon.com/nerdcave. This has been Zach
And Max McGallagher.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.